Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, a warm welcome to, well, it's actually Mexico, round 14, and here's your little fancy track intro there. Sorry if I sound a little flustered here. I'm also hosting the lobby, so I currently need to take care of two things at once, which is a bit taxing, if I'm honest, after a day of work. Anyway, it looks like everybody's good to go. We are in Mexico, as said, round 14 out of 15, so that's the penultimate round of the 5th season of the Misfits Racing League here, Tier 4. My name is Frostbud, and I will be your commentator and lobby host for tonight. So I'm playing a double role here, and I think we're pretty much good to go. So then, the calendar as seen here, Mexico, the penultimate round there, and I have a little look at the standings. Now, interesting facts going on here. As you can see, Grenade Goran is still leading the championship, only by 13 points from Polypunk, though he's been able to close the gap for a while now. The thing is, though, Grenade Goran can claim the championship tonight if he does outscore Polypunk by at least 14 points. So if Polypunk finishes outside of the points, that means Grenade Goran needs to claim at least P3 if he wants to be guaranteed of the driver's title. For the constructor's title is another interesting thing, as Red Bull will be able to claim the championship there tonight as well if they outscore Ferrari by 10 points or more during this race. And seeing that Tatsis is currently absent for the Ferrari team, it seems very likely that Red Bull might be able to do so, as both of their drivers are in this race as we speak. Thing is, though, Haas currently is not out of the running either, and nor, from the top of my head, if I do some quick math here, is McLaren. So, still 4 teams technically in the race for the Constructors' Championship, but I think the most likely battle we'll see tonight is between Red Bull, Ferrari, and maybe a bit Haas. Polypunk, though, is alone in scoring points for the team, unless Waffle's points will count to the championship. Either way, we are now ready to go to the track, so let's switch over to there, and let's settle ourselves in. Let's hope everything will be alright with the lobby. Waffle never gets points. Hey, you never really know. You never really know. Things might happen. And you know, Mexico is an interesting track. It might be potentially full of surprises. But let's have a look what everybody will do in terms of tire strategy. Well, who knows? There will be a bit of surprise going on there. So far, though, we can only see a Ferrari, that is Polypunk, on the medium tires, actually, leaving the pit lane here onto the main straight, a really long straight towards the first turn, which allows for plenty of side-by-side racing. The track is wide and long. There will be rain 60 minutes in. Thank you for informing us for that, Waffle. So usually that means we will not see any rain, since the predictions are pretty much perfect in the lobby settings. So 60 minutes in, there shall be rain. That will only happen if we have like 5 or 6 safety cars, which is very unlikely. So just count on no rain tonight. Dry qualifying and a pretty much dry race all throughout. Several drivers now outside on track, including the championship leader, also on the on the soft tires actually there. Grenade Goran in his Haas car, now out on track, getting ready for his hot lap. He will most likely be faster than Polypunk, but we have seen Polypunk setting some amazing lap times on medium tires. So who knows what he can do tonight. He's really going for heating up them tires there as he heads into the stadium section of the Mexican track. The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. It's a bit hard to pronounce for me as I'm not Spanish myself. I don't think the forecast settings are on approximate. At least I had to set them to perfect according to the lobby settings. And I've been asked to host very much last minute, so I just copy the settings that I've been given. And therefore I know that the weather prediction will be perfect, at least tonight. Maybe it was a wrong setting, maybe it was a mistake. But anyway, let's go back to the action on track here as Polypunk is in the middle of all the traffic here. on a hot lap. His Ferrari teammate is ahead of him, however he will not provide a slipstream as he was heating up his tires. Of course, the purple first sector is the first man out, a 28.5. Let's switch to his main rival tonight, who he needs to stay with. If this man can outscore Polypunk by 14 points, he will be the driver champion. So then, 28.5 it was for Polypunk. Let's see what Grenade Goran can do about that. It most likely is going to be faster, as he is on the faster tire. No, 28.6, which was 28.5 for Polypunk, if I remember correctly. So, very interestingly, he is slower in the first sector. Now, Polypunk is almost getting held up by the other Haas car, Baglao, ahead of him. A bit of a tow here, though, on the main straight from the rival's teammate as he sets a first lap time of a 16.0 on a medium tire, which, in my opinion at least, is pretty rapid, as Grenade Goran then is about to come into the stadium session as well. Purple's middle sector there. With more corners, it is more likely that is actually correct. So a 16.0 to beat for the man trying to beat Polypunk tonight with a lot of points. Can he do that? 15.3, 7/10 quicker than Polypunk. So that's definitely one in the second and final sector. Hi Shadrin, welcome to the stream. Glad to see you're here tonight in this potentially championship winning round of the Tier 4 series. Super Noodle Bagel and slotting in is on the soft tires on a 16.4. And Big Turbina going quite a bit faster than Grenade Goran actually, and a 15.1. Speaking of Big Turbina, his teammate here, Alexander, has invalidated his lap, going back into the pit lane, medium tires. He might just switch to the soft tires in order to stay with the pack. Surprisingly, quite a few drivers on that pretty quick tire. So maybe the medium will actually be one of those tires that people will start with on the top 10. We see at least 3, 5, 7, 8 of them attempting a lap on those tires. Thing is though, the fastest man on the medium tires is currently Polypunk, and he's only 5th at the moment, with quite a few people still setting a lap time, as Trixam is now fastest of the lot with a 15.114, only 3 100ths quicker than Big Turbina. Don't count McLaren out. Don't count McLaren out just yet, as Kane actually, surprise surprise, we have a McLaren front row lockout at the moment. Kane, the first man going through the 1 minute 14.990. I think, yeah, Polypunk has already switched to the soft tires. So he might just try and go a lot quicker there. The medium tire strategy is not going to work out once again. XTXP and 4-door sedan on the medium tires in P11 and P12 only. And Baza currently closing up the lot in P14, but with a lap that is considerably slower than the rest. So then, Alberto Perez slotting in P5 with a 14.4, just like Lars has. It is 3 100ths of a second difference there between the Aston Martin and the Williams driver. As reserve driver Much in the Williams has set a 1 minute 16.0, 1 millisecond quicker than Polypunk, who is now back on an outlap, trying to improve his lap time by quite a lot. Let's switch to somebody who's currently driving. No, he's no longer on a hot lap anymore. Helium there, the reserve driver in place of Fabry Flame at the Aston Martin with a 15.0, currently splitting the McLarens on the front row. Sorry. Red Bull in my heart, Sharon. I don't know if you've heard me and this is the start of this stream, but Red Bull can claim the Constructors' Championship tonight. If they do outscore Ferrari by more than 10 points. And looking at the standings here, the provisional grid at the moment, with Big Turbina and P4 and his teammate Alexander currently on an outlap, trying once again to set a hot lap as his previous one got invalidated on the medium tires. It might just be quite likely that Red Bull will do so right now after the race is over. There's still, of course, 36 laps after this qualifying. Or is it 35? 35 or 36 laps to go after this qualifying, as Lars now improves to P3 with a 15.110, 4 milliseconds faster than Trixam. It's really close. And Alexander Jew then, the qualifying beast on a hot lap. Let's follow him for a while and see how he does on trying to set a lap time here. 28.3 currently, which is the fastest of them all. purple first sector then. Alright, Shannon, well then you'll be glad to know that might happen tonight. A little party for you at home, if Red Bull claims the Constructors' title. Here he is then, Alexander on a hot lap, along with Polypunk, who's right behind him. He goes off the track there a slight bit, but the game doesn't invalidate his lap. So far so good then, as he heads into the stadium. And the final few corners, 2 purple sectors then. This is going to be a mighty lap for Alexander. Oh dear, there's PW Jones in a pretty dangerous position on the track. And look at the lap, ladies and gentlemen, a 14.3. He just chew off 0.6 of a second from Kane. But Polypunk starting right behind him at a 14.6 now on the front row as well. An incredible lap from Alexander. And it looks like the track is evolving quite fast right now, as Polypunk has improved by a lot as well. From a 16.0 on the mediums all the way to a 14.6 on the softs. A 1.4 second improvement is quite a lot, even though this is the softer compound tires. So then, Alexander 0.3 away from the man in second place. Don't count this man out from the championship just yet. He is 26 points behind Grenade Goran. And Grenade Goran currently getting himself ready for his second attempt of a hot lap. He's sitting in PA. Last week he admitted that qualifying isn't his strong side and he usually performs well in the race. But a nice qualifying position would be beneficial for him here tonight, as both of his main rivals are on the front row at the moment. So the pressure is definitely on for the man in the Haas car. Thank you for the compliment, by the way, Kamrat. Glad to see you find these races entertaining to watch. I hope you'll enjoy this one as well tonight. Tier 4 Mexico, a potential championship winning race for Grenade Goran, but he's going to have to drive his life off for it. A 28.3 as well, is about as quick as Alexander in the first sector. So looking very promising. I'm not able to provide you the Discord link at the moment. Hopefully one of the mods in the chat will be able to do so. And let's see what Grenade Goran can do in the second sector though. He'll have to be really precise there. And that's an invalidation. That is an invalidation. Now the pressure is piling up for this man, as you can see. It's getting a bit much for him here, as he's gonna have to try again. The Swede in the Haas. And is he going to try again straight away or head into the pit lane? No, he's going to go again then. He's got about 60% left of his ERS. As currently Trixem ahead of him, now on his hot lap, trying to improve. He's going to have to find 0.8 of a second somewhere to reclaim his position on the front row at least. Going very wide onto the back straight there. No invalidation though, so all good in terms of the game trying to invalidate a lap or not. A 28.2. Which is faster than Alexander in Sector 1. A bit of a sip of water there. You know it all from last week. There's always plenty of action in Tier 4. So, trying to prepare my voice and my throat for the journey tonight. Here he comes then. End of the second sector. It's purple. 0.4 of a second quicker at the moment. He'll need to find a load of time in the final sector though, as we have a Aston Martin car spinning in the second sector. Either Helium or Alberto Perez, but I'm curious to see what Trixem will do when he comes across the line, as one of the Ferraris heads into the pit lane. And there he comes at a 15.6 as well, and out-qualifies Polypunk for the time being. 14.651. As Grenade Goran is again invalidating his lap here. It's not a good qualifying day for the man in the Haas. Is that just the pressure that's getting too much for him? That's the big question you've got to ask yourself. P8 then still with just under 6 minutes left. Thank you, Noel, for providing the Discord link, by the way. Let's see then, a big Turbina starting his hot lap. Can he back up his teammate? He already let us know a few weeks ago that he isn't going for the driver's title. He can't technically anymore. but he would love to claim the Constructors' title for Red Bull tonight. And he can do so if he ups himself a little bit on the grid and makes it a bit more difficult for Polypunk. However, already invalidated his lap here, and he's going to have to try again. So let's switch back to Polypunk then, who is starting his hot lap right now. 3.5 tenths of a second is what he needs in order to claim that pole position that he so desires. Especially now that his, well, he's 13 points ahead of Alexander and 13 points behind Grenade Goran, believe it or not. So double the unlucky number there for Polypunk. And I've jinxed him plenty of times before, especially in the early days of my commentary journey with the MRL. Currently 1/10 up on his previous lap time, so no good just yet. His teammate being right behind him, not providing him then with any slipstream, any tow whatsoever. So he's gonna have to make it up in the second sector then. He's gonna have to be almighty here. Sweep the car from the left to the right. If you get the first corner wrong in this twitchy part of the track, you're gonna be slow. And there he is then, 1/10 quicker at the moment. Purple second sector for the Ferrari driver in P3 at the moment. For sure he'll be beating Trixem then for a front row position. But can he beat the qualifying beast, Alexander? Round the final corner he comes then onto the main straight. Can he beat 1 minute 14.3? No, it's a 1:14.5. It is quite a bit quicker than Trixem though, but currently still not enough to beat Alexander. Thing is though, he is now within 2/10 of a second of the Red Bull driver. So a mighty lap and a mighty attempt there. A mighty effort, I have to say, there from Polypunk, as the other drivers are now slowly getting ready for their final attempt. Here we have Baglao, Grenade Goran's teammate, in the Haas car for another attempt. We have a spin. There we are. Then Kane spun out a little bit on the back straight there. No big deal though. He's still going. He does have time for one more run. Yeah, that Baglao there. Oh dear, he's invalidated his lap and now he's hurrying up to retry. Holy crap, he's cutting every single corner, that was available. The corners are no longer existent for Baglao there, ladies and gentlemen. Here he goes and nearly spinning out his car. What on earth is going on with this man? And cutting more corners there. He is really in a hurry, trying to head back into the pit lane, I guess. Yes, he is. There he goes. Not entirely sure what the reason was for that, but I'm quite sure he will not be able to get out on time anymore. Maybe that was to save time, but I am not entirely sure if that is allowed or not. Interesting. Alberto Perez invalidated his lap. It's quite fascinating to see that during the final attempts you will see the most invalidations of laps. He got caught in 4K. Well, it's only 1080p, unfortunately. My computer is pretty beefy, and I'm very happy it can do 1080p and 60 frames per second, but not 4K. I wish it was 4K, though. Maybe in my future computer build, I might have a try on that. Here he comes then, Big Turbina then. Once again, gonna have a try. That's a good question, actually, Jacob. I'm not entirely sure if Twitch can do 4K. So then, back to the Red Bull driver. Alexander is currently on his way to do the outlap, getting ready for his, well, third and final attempt of sending a lap time there, as his teammate's gonna have it all to do in P7 at the moment. As it stands, Red Bull's looking very strong to claim that Constructors' title, as there's only one Ferrari in the top 10. Waffle only in P15 at the moment. Yeah, another man who's been having a terrible run of luck. Is a disaster. Last race out, really unlucky as well in Austria. Currently sitting in P11, which is the most ideal position if you want to claim free tire choice. And Big Turbina currently 2/10 up on his previous time, purple middle sector. Here he comes then, round the final corner. Can he make it a Red Bull front row lockout with a mighty third sector? He can't. P4 for Big Turbina then. But it's looking very good for Red Bull nonetheless. Let's switch back to his teammate. Alexander then. The beast of qualifying, a 28.2. Purple first sector, almost a 10th up I mean, 10th down. Is it 10th down or 10th up? Either way, he's quicker than his previous lap time. Thank you, Noel. Yeah, let's see. Let's hope not. My name is Frost Breath, by the way. You're coming quite close, though. Frostbite. Fair enough. He didn't invalidate. No. Whoa! Nearly lost the car, though. Trying to push very hard. Did that cost him time? Yes, it did. And that means qualifying over for Alexander then. In the meanwhile, his closest rival, Polypunk, now on a hot lap, chasing down a Williams as well. I'm not entirely sure if this Williams is on a hot lap. Either way, he's getting a massive tow from the car ahead of him, so that might be very beneficial for him in the first sector. It looks like, though, the Williams ahead of him is on a hot lap. Is that Lars? Yes, it is Lars. Lars is currently on a hot lap, as we have a spin. It's not Disaster, though. It's his teammate, Undertaker, who's forced to retire due to the spin. So no disaster for Disaster, but it is a disaster for his teammate. Polypunk then. I'm afraid he's getting a bit held up by the Williams ahead. Whoa! Not narrowly avoiding the Alfa Romeo there. Holy cow, that was close. And Lars, yes, is definitely holding up the final attempt of Polypunk to claim pole position there. Already invalidated his lap. So no pole position then for the Ferrari driver. And Lars then coming round the final corner. Can he improve? No, he can't. Looks like the track has stopped evolving and has become a bit slower there. So that's pretty much qualifying over, unless... No, Trixam has also pretty much stopped almost literally on track. So there we have it then. No improvements for most cars in the final attempt. And there we have it. Alexander once again on pole position, looking strong to close the gap to Grenade Goran and Polypunk. Polypunk, if he can stay in P2 behind Alexander, will still be ahead of the Red Bull driver at the end of the race. If Alexander wins it. But we all know, if Alexander Juice starts on P1, he'll be in a strong position to win the race. And now we're looking in the face of a pit crew member of McLaren. Hi there. How are you doing? There we are, your final qualifying results. Alexander on pole position, Polypunk in second, Trix in third, Big Turbine in the other Red Bull in P5, 4, and Grenade Goran in fifth. The rest of the grid will look like this. Baza in the AlphaTauri will close up the rear. Waffle in P19. Kieran in 18th. So, well, yeah, at least there's one Mercedes in the top 10. Alpine, no car in the top 10 though. Nor will AlphaTauri have. As Super Noodle Bagel, the only man without a single point in this championship, is starting in P17. So, tire strategy. Well, likely the sub-top 10, medium to hard. And I think the top 10 might just go and do a soft to hard. Although I'm not entirely sure on this track how strong the tire wear is. It might even be a two-stop race with a soft to medium. But I might be wrong on that one. It really depends on what happens. Safety cars and the like. Especially with the pressure on for the top 3 of the Drivers' Championship. We might see some interesting things happen. Soft, medium, soft. That might even be an option. Yeah, good point there, Brainstew. So a two-stopper isn't even unthinkable here on this track, as tire wear is pretty, well, existent, that's for sure. So let's see what everybody will do. Light rain at the end. Yes, I heard it's about 60 minutes in. So who knows? Let's enable all of these fancy pants detail here. Tires first and foremost. We always like to have that. Trying to change the camera here for Alexander, but yeah, there we go. Finally, it works. The game at least suggests a two-stop strategy from soft to medium or soft hard. Now that last strategy is very unlikely. Soft hard is pretty slow. But you never know what happens, especially if, let's see, Grenade Goran has managed to improve to P5 during qualifying. So that means that the main rivals are in P1, P2 and P5. With the championship leader currently... It's actually the reverse of the top three here, as Alexander is in third, Polypunk in second, and Grenade Goran in first in the Drivers' Championship. They are in reverse order here on the grid. The Grenade Goran having Trixem and Big Turbina ahead of him, and I'm afraid, for Grenade Goran at least, that Big Turbina is going to do every single trick in the book to keep the Haas behind. I've now learned to know Big Turbina is a very big team player, as he really wants to claim the Constructors title, so therefore I'm quite sure he will try everything to keep Grenade Goran behind. Interestingly, two cars starting on the hard tires. Alberto Perez and Baza trying the hard tire strategy there. Surprisingly few cars are on the medium. There's even two drivers there on the soft tires. Four-door sedan and Waffle going to try the aggressive strategy from the get-go, and Alberto Perez Baza going, both of them going long. Hearts don't work properly here. Oh dear. Well, Alberto, oh dear, why is the camera so far away from the starting grid? I mean, holy crap. Everybody, can you see it? They in the very far distance over there, that's the starting grid. What's going on? If we yell loud enough, maybe they'll hear us. Oh dear, I can't see them. The camera, a helicopter, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks for thanks for coming back. 5 red lights, and we are off for the penultimate round. Looks like a good start for both Polypunk and Alexander. Thing is though, Polypunk is away a bit better there. He's going to get into the slipstream. Many drivers are getting into the slipstream, so Alexander, while being in pole position, will have to go defensive. Thing is though, he's still in P1 when he comes to the first corner. Polypunk trying to go round the outside though to challenge him for the lead, but he does some mighty defensive work there, and he retains the lead for the time being. And it looks like a great start there from Kane Gigfan as well, as he's now in P4. That is a McLaren looking strong there. Big Turbina been losing out, but look who's losing out even more there. Grenade Goran falling down all the way to P9. A disastrous start there for the championship leader. No good news for him whatsoever. As it stands currently, both drivers in the top two will overtake him in the driver standings. So terrible news there for Grenade Goran. He's going to have to make a mighty effort to climb back up into the points there, as he's only scoring 2 of them as it stands. So then a strong start there for Alexander, and a mighty effort from Polypunk to try and overtake him at the start. And now he's going to have to try and stay with him. But it looks like the McLarens are being feisty tonight. They know they still have a small shot at claiming the Constructors title in the next round. They will definitely not do so in this round if they can get both of their cars very high up on the grid. Here they come at the end of lap 1. All of them across the line. It looks like no disasters and spins, no big drama for any of the cars, as everybody's still within a second of one another. Baclao then having a look at Alberto Perez for P10. We know this man never backs out from a fight and will go for any move whatsoever as he goes into turn 1 side by side with the Aston Martin on the hard tires. The superior grip of the soft tires working out in Baclao's favor, but they're still side by side though. Alberto Perez isn't just giving out that easily, but it looks like for now he's gonna have to stay behind the men in the Haas. In the meanwhile, in the front here we have Kane switching cars with Trixem, probably for the sake of the team. Either that or it has actually been a battle and we've missed it. Either way, he did select a purple first sector, so Kane absolutely flying there, ladies and gentlemen. And we have our first yellow flag in the back of the grid as Baza, Super Noodle Bagel, and it looks like Undertaker as well as Waffle are having a bit of a tussle in the rear of the grid. The man without points though, now far behind and lost position. He's still standing still there, not entirely sure what's going on there. Either way, Big Turbina is now getting in trouble there with Helium, fighting for P5, nearly pushing him into the wall. It's a crash! It is a crash there for Big Turbina and Helium as they both tried to fight one another. It is Big Turbina though who's turned around on track. He is able to get back though. Luckily for him, no retirement, but this is no good news for the Red Bull team, as they only have one car remaining now into the top 10. In the meanwhile, oh, what's happened there? No, it's Alexander! Alexander is round. Alexander is around, so it's a disaster there for Red Bull and the championship's hopes. What on earth happened there? I'm quite sure that this man has lost the car by himself, as Polypunk, I think, wasn't nearly in any position there, and he's pretty angry now. He already pushed an Alpine off the track there. This man is not a happy man tonight. If you've never seen an angry Swede, well, here is one in the Red Bull car. That's absolute terrible news there for the team from Austria. Fallen to P9, which is fantastic news, of course, for Grenade. Goran is already back home to P6. So many things already happening now. Polypunk is leading the race by a clear margin from Kane. 1.5 seconds separating the Ferrari from the McLaren. So, oh dear, things are turning around quickly now, ladies and gentlemen. On to lap 4 out of 36. You've been an angry Swede. Alright, then here we go then. PW Joes for a move on Lars. Side by side and already ahead where the Mercedes goes into 4th place there. Fighting of Lars for the time being. As Alexander, the angry Swede, now overtaking Alberto Perez for P8. He is 2.2 seconds away from Baglao, who in turn is 1.5 seconds away from Grenade Goran. Just to put it easy, I know it's a bit more than that, but still. Deary me. No damage, fortunately, for the Red Bull car here, as far as I can see. It's going a bit wide here, but it looks like the car's still fine, so it's just been a spin. I'm 90% sure there hasn't been any contact, but we'll have to wait and see. From any of the interviews that might potentially happen, and see what will happen. See what has happened, actually. That's what I should say. Either way, things are now starting to settle down a little bit with Big Turbina in P19 and Super Noodle Bagel even further behind in last place. Helium also fallen back after the crash with Big Turbina, now in 18th place on fresh medium tires, and looks like Big Turbina and Super Noodle Bagel are going along. We have another fight going though. Lars losing quite a bit of pace now under threat from Grenade Goran, who takes P5 from him. The Haas driver now into the top 5. He's currently 15 points behind Polypunk as we speak. Polypunk will still be the Drivers' Championship leader. But it is getting tighter and tighter though. Having a battle here between Alberto Perez and 4-door Sedan for 9th place. Alberto Perez losing out to him, and he's about to lose out to Much as well. Terrible camera point of view here, unfortunately. But Alberto Perez knows he's going to have to go long, and therefore he's taking it a bit easy there, as far as I can see from here, to preserve his tires, as he knows everybody ahead of him will pit sooner than he does, since he's in the hardest compound of tires. So he's fallen out to P11 for now, at least. This is the group though where most battles happen. The group in the fight for 9th place is 4-door Sedan. Oh dear, what's going on there? I'm not entirely sure what happened there. It was a bit of a weird camera angle, but it looks like somebody nearly lost control of his car, causing Much to swerve there. I could make some terrible jokes about this name as well, but I will not do it. I've made plenty of about Disaster's name, and it didn't really work out for him in terms of luck. Either way, 4-door Sedan trying to run away from the pack here on his soft tires, and everybody chasing him down for those 2 points they like to grab from him. And he's going to have to go slightly defensive there, a bit behind actually. We see Kieran and Alberto Perez now fighting for 11th place. Kieran having slightly softer tires than Alberto Perez has. Thing is though, the Aston Martin is holding his ground. He knows that the medium tires aren't as fast as all those soft tires who've flown by him, with the exception of Much, of course, who's also on the medium tire. Meanwhile, the front, Polypunk is very slowly building a gap, now 1.9 seconds away from Kane, as he is tussling with Trixam for second and third place. But it looks like the McLarens are holding position. I don't really think they're fighting at the moment, as they know these points are very valuable in this fight for the constructors. Both Red Bulls having lost out now, one of them P7 and the other one far behind the rest of the grid, the group. And the thing is though, Alexander is now already on the back of Lars and he's gonna have to drive for his life. There he goes then. A very low battery though for the Red Bull, as we can see. And it looks like Lars is quite a bit more, so he's able to defend. But Alexander braking late and having the inside line doesn't have a lot of problems there. Overtaking Lars. Now then, there's two rivals behind one another. Grenade Goran is now ahead of Alexander. And there he is then. The fight for P5 between the two championship rivals is now on 26 points. Separate these two men. With Grenade Goran in first and Alexander in third. Is gonna have to fight to get past him. 7 laps done. Plenty of action on track so far. A few bits of drama between Helium and Big Turbina. Alexander spinning out, losing his first position. The pressure becoming probably a bit too much for him there. Oh dear. Alexander going very wide. He's really... Look at him go. He's flying. This is the fight between the Swedes as we see Baza actually retiring in the second sector. Will there be a safety car? Yes, there is a safety car. This will change everything for everybody. And look who the lucky man is here. Just before the pit entry, the safety car came out. So this man, exceptionally lucky. There he goes then for the long run on the hard tires. I think he's going to go for a one-stop then. Plenty of drivers getting into the pit lane. Although I said lucky. Thing is though, the safety car hasn't picked up the leader just yet. So the 5 drivers in the soft tires currently might get a somewhat free-ish pit stop as well. As the safety car is going to let past everybody else. And they all are going to have to drive a slow pace until Polypunk picks up the safety car. So with Baza out of the race. Daza's the other man in the Alfa Romeo. P7 at the moment. Baza being out of the race. That means the field will now be leveled, which is lucky for drivers such as Waffle, Big Turbina and Super Noodle Bagel. We can now catch up to the pack again, as none of them have been caught up by the race leader. Thing is though, Big Turbina going back into the pit lane and already exiting it again. In fact, for a fresh set of tires, he will emerge ahead of the leader. And it looks like the race leader is coming in for his stop as well as both McLaren cars. So a double stack stop, which might potentially see Trexam losing out to the Mercedes and the Haas behind. So let's see what happens here. As you're going to have to wait a little bit. These pit crew in the game aren't very quick. There we go. Already lost out to the Haas and lost out to the Mercedes. And I'm afraid he's going to lose out to even more cars. So that's absolutely terrible for Trixam. But I think it's better to do it now than to wait another lap, which will cause him to lose even more places. But I don't think this man is going to be very happy now. Even getting passed by Alexander and Undertaker now fallen down back to P10. So the McLarens are no longer together. Field is slowly catching up. And because the Kieran disaster and XTXP started on the medium tires and they decided to stay out, they are now in 2nd, 3rd and 4th place. Great news for Polypunk, by the way, who's emerged into the lead. He'll be very happy about that, as the guys behind him will have slightly older and slower tires. And that will be a problem for Kane and other drivers like Grenade Goran and Alexander. And I'm starting to have doubts about whether Alexander is happy with his strategy choice here, as almost everybody behind around him has got a faster tire. Baglao and Waffle going for the same strategy. But he might struggle a little bit in the early few laps after the safety cars come in. which will take at least another lap as Super Nullebago's pitted again. And he will have a lot of catching up to do, so it might potentially take 2 more laps for the safety car to come in. Which is good news for the hard tire users. I think these drivers on the hard tires will hope that the safety car will stay out as long as possible and that there will be at least one more. Because that will play into their advantage. That way they might have track position over everybody else by not stopping any longer. Because everybody else in the mediums will have to stop for a fresh set if there comes a second safety car in say like 10-12 laps from now. The only thing that Alexander will realize is that everybody around him will have to stop at least once more. Because these medium tires will not make it to the end. That's quite obvious. So, we're waiting then for Big Turbina and Super Noodle to catch up with the pack. Either way, a lot of work is here to do for both Red Bull drivers. A lot of work to be done. That's the correct sentence there. You gotta love having a non-English commentator, don't you? All the weird accents. Especially the Dutch accent. Such a funky one. I would love to hear predictions for the winners, for a winner right now, by the way. Since everything's changed. Alexander was looked like to be running away with it until he spun. And now he's on the back foot in P8 at the moment. Will it be Polypunk? Alexander will not be stopping unless there's another safety car, potentially. Or maybe he won't even do it when there is another safety car, as I said earlier. Either way, he will emerge in the lead sooner or later. Oh dear. We have a Aston Martin spinning. It is Helium in the stadium section who's lost out during the safety car. Well, we all know what to do with this kind of situation, don't we? Just blame Ericsson after all. If there's nobody to blame, just say it was Ericsson. Even when he's like not here. Lucky thing that the safety car stayed out for another lap, as Super Noodle Bagel has pretty much caught up to the pack. And I am positive that this will be the last lap of the safety car. He's done a U. Okay then, Maxime. You know, stuff happens. I mean, it's the end of the season. Maybe drivers are getting a bit tired. It is quite a tough job though. Driving every week. Pressure of a championship on several of these guys' shoulders. Mistakes will happen sooner or later. Any minute now we'll see a message that the safety car will come in and then Polypunk will be able to dictate the pace. There he is. Safety car in this lap. And therefore Polypunk will now show the others how fast they can go. It shouldn't be too difficult for him to pull away if he gets a good restart. And then to create a gap between himself and Kane, who is his nearest rival at the moment. For the victory, that is. He's doing it quite fast though. The safety car is barely into the pit lane as he's already going. It looks like though Kieran is quite awake. He's not too far behind at the moment, but he is losing out to the Ferrari at the moment there. Look at that disaster though. Having a good restart. XTXP having an even better restart. He's already going side by side with the Alfa Romeo, trying to claim a third place there. And it looks like he actually succeeds in doing so. So while Disaster was quite more awake, XTXP is actually flying there. And now he's already challenging Kieran for second place. Look at the man go. There he comes. No try there yet though, as Big Turbina now on P16 is already in the group who's fallen behind the rest of the pack. So not a great restart from them over there, as Undertaker is fighting with Lars for the final point there. Lars trying to go around the outside, getting pushed slightly wide there, not too much though. And they're still side by side while going into the second sector there. A bit of contact there, and Lars for now winning out from Undertaker, taking 10th place for the time being. And Baglau already on the back of the Alfa Romeo, now trying to claim 11th place. He would like to get some more points for the Haas team. Look at them flying there. But for now he's going to have to stick behind and be a bit more patient. As, well, Polypark, look at them, is already 2.5 seconds away from Kieran here. Their tires are not really cooperating. And Kane already on the back of all of these cars and all the tires. We have a yellow flag though. It is Undertaker who spun out in the stadium section. And we have, oh dear, it looks like an absolute disaster. Catastrophe there. Now 2 cars are absolutely everywhere. It's Helium once again being the victim of a crash. Although not entirely sure of the previous time he was the victim or the one who caused it. Thing is though, Alexander is now fighting for P8. He's gonna have a big trouble here trying to keep Trixam behind. He's also got a lot more pace on his faster medium tires. Alexander though knows he doesn't really need to fight too hard, as his tires will come to life later into the race. Thing is though, he would love to stay with Grenade Goran. And I think he slowly sees him disappearing into the distance. No, not really actually. He's only half a second behind him though. He is trying to keep the pace, but doesn't. I hope he doesn't overburden his tires with that. And look at Polypunk, 3.7 seconds already away from the rest of the group. This man has got the best restart of his life. He really needs that for the championship. And there, Grenade Goran then challenging PW Jones for P6 in Sector 3. Not the usual place to overtake. But he does. It looks like he's looking everywhere around him. He's got quite a bit more pace, it seems. So PW Jones in trouble at the moment as he's being pressurized, and Kane now having a good run of the final corner, using all of his ERS, trying to overtake and quickly go to Polypunk, because he's losing a lot of time really fast. As Polypunk now 4.5 seconds away from the rest of the group. Kane moving up into 4th place, and now you'll have to challenge XTXP for 3rd. All of these guys around him still have to stop. Unfortunately, he's got a penalty, so that's another big bit of trouble for him in the bag. Several fights going on track right now, as Grenade Goran is really trying to get past PW Jones. However, PW Jones is not really giving up that easily. Thing is though, he is now past, which is not good news for Alexander, who's almost losing out to Trixem again. Still, he's staying ahead for the time being though, as he slowly sees Grenade Goran disappearing into the distance, as the man is now going to challenge Disaster for P5. Some DRS there to help him out. And it's looked like Trixem, no, it's actually Kane. And oh, look at that, Alexander getting past PW Jones, which Trixem says thank you very much, my good man. And he follows suit. In the meanwhile, his teammate is now still right on the tail of XTXP, coming around the final corner. And I think he's going to do it this time round, as XTXP doesn't have much pace left anymore on those medium tires. We're getting older and older. And Kane also so quickly closing the gap to Kieran. And he might just go for a move in the next straight there to claim P2. But look at the gap, 6 and 6.7 seconds it is already. Kane having lost out badly after the safety car restart in his hopes for winning a race there. He is now into 2nd place though, but he's got a 7.1 second gap to close if he wishes to claim victory, and it's going to have to be 3 seconds extra because of his penalty. Side by side, meanwhile, Alexander is still fighting with Trixem. Trixem is giving him no breather whatsoever. Alexander is having to fight for every single point, and he's now right behind Grenade Goran again. The 2 rivals in the championship see their other rival disappearing into the far distance. As Polypunk is now 7.4 seconds away from Kane. Look at the pace of this man, it's absolutely insane. So then, the fight between the man in oh no, it's Grenade Goran who's lost out! He's lost the car! And his front wing! Even more disaster then for the championship leader, who sees his lead in the standings disappear like a puff of smoke. Was that overheat or was that no temperature in the tires? Either way, he's lost the car all by himself. And there he goes, all the way to P17. Terrible, terrible news for the man who was leading the championship. And he's very unlikely to do so now, unless there's going to be an absolute miracle. Polypunk will be extremely happy with this, as he's now beating both of his rivals. Oh no, look at that! What's going on over there? An absolute pile-up between 6 or 7 cars! And it looks Alexander is involved as well. Oh, dearie me, it's going all wrong for everybody except Polypunk tonight. An absolute pile-up of some cars. What on earth are they all doing here? Alexander now back into P9. Behind 4-door sedan. Behind Lars, behind PW Jones, and Trick Sam is now up into P5. What on earth is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This race has got everything you can ask for in terms of drama, that's for sure. So then, back to square one again for Alexander, while Disaster is being pressurized by the Williams of the reserve driver Much. Yes, you're gonna, if you could do Deke Serve, please let me know what happened there exactly, as it went so quickly. Oh, dear me, both of them taking one another out nearly. Much is really aggressive there on the power, trying to get past Disaster because he knows he's got more pace. In the meanwhile though, XCXP and Kieran fighting for 3rd place, a bit further in front. Both of them going side by side, keeping it clean though, fair and hard fighting going on between these two drivers. Neither of them giving the other an inch. Trick Sam is just like literally looking at both of them and waiting for the accident to happen there. But it isn't happening. So Trick Sam is going to have to do it himself. And he is really close now on the tail of XTXP. Several other things going on back now. Overtaking Disaster for P12 at the moment. But look at these 3 cars immensely close together. And the yellow flag as Disaster is... Oh dear. I'm not even going to say anything about that. I mean... who was that? Yeah, Noel. We've jinxed him again, I'm afraid. We've jinxed him again. I just can't stop doing it. I don't know how, but there's something going on. Either way, back to the battles at hand. Trick Sam on his fresher tires, absolutely flying on the main straight, getting past XCXP into 4th place. And soon he'll try and make a move on Kieran. Oh, soon, I almost nearly did it immediately. Thank you, Noel, for saying it for me, so I don't have to do it myself. Whoa, look at that. Trick Sam nearly hitting the back of Kieran there, as he's got a much better exit. So that puts him slightly on the back foot. Thing is, though, he can now go side by side and ahead into turn 4. And in 3rd place, the McLarens are back where they were before the safety car. But look at the gap between Poli and Kane. 8.5 seconds. The Ferrari is... absolutely going insane in terms of pace. He knows he can claim a massive gap in the championship to Alexander and Grenade Goran. If it stands like this, he will extend his gap to Alexander to, let me do some quick math here, 34 points. Is that correct? 25 and then 4, yeah, 21 and 30, 34 points as it stands away from Alexander. And 12 points from Grenade Goran. So if this ends like this, Alexander is out of contention for the driver's title. Another yellow flag as Baglao spun out. Oh dear, another Haas losing a front wing. I think the Haas team are going to have a very expensive night today, as they already have to replace 2 front wings on both cars. In the meanwhile, back at the front of the grid, Kieran struggling with his old medium tires. Got PW Jones behind him now. Will he let him pass though? Or will he fight his teammate, who is on the fresher and quicker tires at the moment? So then, as it stands, it will be a showdown in Brazil between Grenade Goran and Polypunk. However, Alexander is on a wild run now, already up into P6. This man is suddenly flying, and his hard tires are slowly starting to come to life. Everybody behind him can no longer keep up. Lars then challenging XTXP for P7. Side by side. It's nearly contact there. It might have been contact. Couldn't see it for sure. Oh dearie me, they're fighting really hard into the stadium actually. Oh, watch your front wing there, XTXP. And Lars now ahead on his fresher tires into 7th place. No DRS for him though, as Alexander is starting to make a move on PW Jones for P5, getting pushed in the grass. It's a 2 overtake, a double overtake for Alexander, nearly losing the car again. Both Mercedes then in the way of this Red Bull car. He's having to cut the grass there, literally, to keep himself into one piece. But this man, he really wants to get ahead of both Mercedes, but they're not allowing him to do so, as we have a spin from Super Noodle Bagel on the main straight. And wow, good lord, everything is happening at once. Look at this, for example, 4-door sedan fighting Lars now for 10th place. All of these on the same age of tires and the same type of tires as well. So there's everything to play for there. Alexander then is going to have another go now on Kieran, but not on this straight. It's a bit too much of a risk. And look at Big Turbina already back into P8. So the Red Bull team slowly climbing back up the positions in hopes of claiming their title. Right now, they are not claiming the Constructors' title. They are scoring, as we speak, 12 points. And Ferrari is scoring 25 points thanks to Polypunk alone. There he is. Alexander is finally having a go at Kieran and finally getting ahead. His battery is pretty much drained though, and Kieran is having quite a bit more, but he knows his tires are pretty much done for. 20 laps old they are, and he'll soon switch to the soft tires. It looks like it might actually be a medium to soft strategy for Kieran there. Absolutely incredible. That would be insane. So then Alexander now in P5 and closing the gap and already setting a purple first sector. Then closing the gap to PW Jones. He's the next victim potentially there. Thing is though, Alexander's got a penalty, PW Jones doesn't, but he'll have to stop. Everybody ahead of Alexander is going to have to stop. Big Turbina, in fact, Miracuda is now P7. The man is absolutely flying. Red Bull, as I said, is getting back together. Alexander will be leading the race after the next round of pit stops have happened, but then Polypunk will be an awful lot faster than he is. So victory is all but certain for the man in the Red Bull. And there he goes then, onto the main straight, now challenging PW Jones for 4th place. And then he can go wild as fast as he wants. There he goes, side by side, and well, PW Jones is making quite a fight of it. There he is ahead of him into turn 1. PW Jones knows it. In the meanwhile, the other Red Bulls overtaking the other Mercedes for P6. And right now, it's changed again. It's still advantage Ferrari. But 12 and 8, 20 points currently being scored for Red Bull, as opposed to 25 for Ferrari. So currently Ferrari outscoring Red Bull by 5 points. In the meanwhile, the two Alpines are still being swarmed by an Aston Martin and a Williams. Whoa! Look at Lars! What on earth? He just completely lost the car there. He went sideways off the track, and that will cost a lot of tire life there. Potentially overheating them, so he's going to have to be a bit careful now on the power in order to not lose the car again. And it looks like he manages to do so, but that wasn't any good. So for now, that means Lars is out of that battle for P9. And that means both Alpines are now fighting for P10 and 9. And Alberto Perez is lurking behind both of those cars. What will the Alpine cars do then? Will they stay behind one another? Will they fight? Looks like they're going to fight. But it looks like also XTSP is not making much of a problem of it, because he knows that his tires are much older than 4-door sedans. It's been a while since the race restart after the safety car. And this is how it stands. Polypunk comfortably leading from Kane. 10.4 seconds. The man is absolutely unstoppable tonight. Grenade Goran is hanging around in 13th place, scoring absolutely no points, which is terrible news for him for his championship hopes. He hasn't lost the championship yet though, because as we currently speak, Polypunk will be leading by 12 points from Grenade Goran, and Alexander will also overtake Grenade Goran, I think. No, not yet, he's 26 points behind. You'll need a lot more than that. But I should correct myself there. Alexander is currently out of the running for the driver's title if it stays like this. He's losing 13 points, and he's already 13 points behind Polypunk, and I believe Polypunk has won more races. Might be wrong though. Maybe Alexander's won. Currently he'll be 26 points behind Polypunk if it finishes as it is. Big Turbina then, going past PW Jones as well, and now it's Red Bull P4 and P5. And the duo of McLaren is now... What on earth? This camera is just silly. Thank you very much. I'm entirely sure why the camera decided to film a wall. Not very interesting. Undertaker in the meanwhile being lapped. Super Noodle Bagel being lapped. Fight for P9 is still going. Kieran is now, it's P8 in fact, Kieran now fighting four-door sedan for that position. And let's have a little look. I think Lars was one of those drivers who hadn't pitted yet. Yes, he's going to the soft tires now. And ooh, he's gonna have to be close, gonna have to be tight there. Be careful on the power as your tires are getting older. I'd like to know the gap between Alexander and Polypunk, 17.3 seconds. So that means if Polypunk pits now, he will end up behind the Red Bull. But he will be faster. Here he comes then. Kieran also in for his first and only pit stop. There he is. A fresh set of soft tires are going under the car, so it's a medium to soft strategy. Dear me, interesting. There we are, one pit stop. So medium to soft is definitely possible on this track, ladies and gentlemen. It's definitely possible. He's coming out side by side with Grenade Goran there. What can he do? His infinitely more grip, though, will cause Kieran to stay ahead of the Haas driver and driver championship leader. For the time being, at least. No DRS there for Grenade Goran, as Kieran came out slightly behind him. So that's very fortunate for the Mercedes there. And look at this man, absolutely going haywire. Now he's already at the back of Trixam, who he was fighting earlier after losing out due to an interesting pile-up of cars a few laps before this. Disaster getting a 3-second time penalty in the meanwhile. And there he comes. Is Alexander going to go for an overtake into turn 1? He's trying to go around the outside. Trixam defending the inside, and that means Alexander will have to stay behind him for a while, but he's really close, and if he gets a proper exit here, it's definitely game over for Trixam. It looks like it is, as he's going to have more DRS there, but his ERS battery is run flat, which is unfortunate for him. Thing is though, so has Trixam's battery, but he is really not making it easy for Alexander. He's trying to stay ahead, trying to go around the outside, but he's getting pushed wide by the Red Bull driver there, and for now Alexander wins out, and he's getting a better exit there too. So that means advantage Alexander for now. The penalties, yes, of course, you can see them. Let's see here. Oh dear, that's a lot of penalties for everybody. Alexander having 6 seconds already. Holy crap. Man, that's a lot. Grenade Goran. Oh, don't tell me he's lost the car again. Yes, he has. He's lost the car again. Fallen into P15. Championship leader having the worst day of his life. There's only 3 drivers without penalties at the moment. Polypunk, PW Jones and XTXP. And especially for this man, that's great news. If he pits now, knowing that Alexander's got 6 seconds added to his race time at the moment, he doesn't even have to overtake him as long as he stays within those 6 seconds. We have Lars spinning out in the second sector. There's so many people spinning out at the moment that it's getting more and more cloudy and the temperatures are starting to drop. Trixam is not giving up just yet. He might just go for another move here on the inside. No, he thinks better of it there. He's staying behind for now. And Alexander is doing everything to close the gap to Trixam's teammate there. He is managing to do so as the medium tires are starting to wear out. And he's only about 15 seconds now behind Polypunk. He is closing the gap to the race leader. But there's only 9 laps to go. So if Polypunk doesn't stop, it means... well, you never really know. It's 14.8 now. The gap is starting to drop. Interesting, very interesting. Will Polypunk actually stay out? Will he not pit again? If he wants to pit, he'll have to do it very soon. Otherwise, Alexander will be too far away to overtake. Alexander, like, weaving his car. It's almost like he's shaking his head. No, you will not overtake me, Mr. McLaren. Thing is, though, Trixam's battery is pretty much dead. So we have another yellow flag. I think that's Lars spinning out again. Not a great day for that man. Trixam is staying with the Red Bull for now. And look at this. A fight between Waffle and PW Jones. Waffle, the man saying that he wouldn't finish in the points, is currently driving in the points. 7th place at the moment for this man in the Ferrari. That's even better news for the Ferrari team there. Because they'll score even more points at the moment. 25 points as opposed to 31 for Ferrari. It still means that Red Bull will not play in the Constructors' Round tonight. Another yellow flag as Lars has retired from the session within the pit lane, so no safety car there. Now the big question I'd like to ask is, will this man stop? Or will he stay out? It's only 12.8 seconds to Alexander, who's closing the gap quickly now to Kane. The man ahead of him on the medium tires. Let's see the tire age. 19 laps. That will add another 7. 26 laps. Those tires will be of age by the end of the race. Will the medium tires last? For Polypunk and Kane and Trixam. Trixam is no longer within DRS range. He's lost out quite badly now. And Alexander's tires, well, maybe the soft to hard strategy will work out for him. 12.5 seconds. Let's actually see it like this. 12.6. That's a fair point actually there, Carbon. I haven't even taken into account the penalties. Even if Alexander overtakes Polypunk, he will win due to all of the penalties the guys behind him have. But it is a risk though. You're not entirely sure the tires will last, as they're getting quite old now. So fingers crossed then, if you want Polypunk to win. Fingers crossed hard. Alexander has now pretty much closed the gap to Kane, who's losing out a lot of pace as well. Just taking it really easy on his tires, I think, and Alexander can push a bit harder. 11 seconds now remain between him and the race leader. If this was without penalties, it would have been a much more exciting. But unfortunately, that's not the case. This disaster now on his fresher soft tires has now overtaken Waffle for P8. And Waffle will be swarmed by many more cars soon, because everybody behind him is on fresher softs as well. Oh, this poor man. He was actually driving in the points, and I think he's coming in for a pit stop. Yes, he is. He wants to go to the softs as well. He thinks it's not working anymore for him. He found it likely that he would be overtaken by everybody behind him, I think, since his tires were old and worn and slower than all those fresh soft tires. So either way, he would have ended P14. We have another yellow flag. Baglao, I think, spun out. Oh dear. I think the fight between these three cars has climaxed into a collision. At least for Baglao, who's now far behind and lost. Oh my god, no! That just didn't happen! He's taken out one of the McLarens there, who was fighting for the podium. Oh no, don't tell me that just happened. A back marker has taken out a McLaren out of the race. He's still going though, but this man will be fuming. Trick Sam has fallen victim to Baglao. I'm not entirely sure what he did even. But it was a bit messy, that's for sure. And meanwhile, we've completely missed the battle between Kane and Alexander. Alexander now having claimed second place from Kane. Oh dear, I think Baglao might be in some serious trouble after cutting every single part of the track during qualifying and now crashing out somebody who was on the same lap as his. That's terrible. That is not on. So then, Alexander is rapidly closing the gap to the race leader, but with 5 laps to go, it's not going to happen that this man will win the race, which will allow Polypunk to gain another 8 points in the championship, extending his advantage to Alexander to 21 points. It's getting a bit quiet in terms of battles. Well, as I say that, thing is here though, we have a battle between Kieran and Alberto Perez and much for P7, and even P6's Disaster isn't too far behind there. We just said Disaster had an absolute disaster, but it looks like he's made up for it by going back into P6 at the moment. Let's go back to those penalties. Look at all the penalties there. Much, as I said, was fighting for that position, but he's got 15 seconds of penalties. Oh dear. This looks like it's an easy day for Polypunk and PW Jones. The only 2 people left without penalties there, as Alberto Perez is having a look at PW Jones as well as Much. Both of them trying to get around PW Jones. Much is very feisty though, tries to go for a double overtake. Not succeeding yet though. He knows he'll have to drive like a maniac if he wants to stay ahead of them in terms of penalties at least. 9 seconds to Kieran. And 12 seconds to Alberto Perez. Alberto Perez knows that he doesn't have to fight him very hard. Rain in 5 minutes. Oh dear, that might shake up the order a little bit. Ooh, might we see an exciting final few laps due to some potential rain? No rain yet though. 5 minutes might be just at the final lap, if my calculations are correct. Laps are counting down. 8 seconds, which is in fact 14 seconds due to the 6 seconds that Alexander has to his time. But the tires of Polypunk are getting really ancient now. They're about to get fossilized. So that's how old they are. 7.8 seconds. Now Alexander's gaining quickly now. The pace is pretty much gone for the Ferrari. Kane trying to stay with him. 2 seconds though already behind him. As Trick Sam has overtaken the other Haas, which is on the same lap as he is. He can still set the fastest lap, but McLaren is definitely out of the Constructors' title now. After Baglao took out Trick Sam while being lapped by him. The final few lap, the closing stage of the Mexican Grand Prix, and what a Grand Prix it's been. It's absolutely insane with all the things happening on track. Battles, crashes. Oh man, so many things happened tonight. There's going to be a lot to talk about, that's for sure. I think there's going to be plenty of incident reports for the FIA to look at. As Trick Sam has now spun out in Sector 2. His day couldn't get any worse, and it just did actually. As he's losing out even more. This man is probably going to be so frustrated right now. I kind of feel bad for him. He was going strong. And right now, it looks like Red Bull are outscoring Ferrari at the moment with 30 points to 25, which is not enough. 5 points currently. And they need 10 points or more to claim the Constructors' title. Which is unlikely at the moment to happen. 5.4 seconds now between the race leader and the man in P2. Not counting the penalties. More penalties are coming in. Everybody's getting penalties except PW Jones and Polypunk. But Trick Sam retiring. Not surprised there. He's got enough. He's really got enough. So sorry for him. Really feel bad for them, man. 3 laps to go for Polypunk. Whoa, what on earth is happening there? Much decided to smash a sign there. Got a bit wobbly. I think I saw a bit of lag there. Thing is though, he's still on the track. He's still going as the signs there are just made out of, what is it made of, styrofoam or something like that. Either way, it's not enough to destroy a front wing. And Alberto Perez getting a bit wobbly there in the stadium section. As he's still trying to fight for P7. He doesn't have to fight hard though, as I said earlier, as all of the penalties accumulated by Much, as seen here, will be enough for Alberto Perez to move ahead. In fact, many drivers behind Much are just taking it easy. And look at this, the Alpine drivers then having a tussle for 10th position, both of them having the same amount of penalties. So this is really a fight going on. It's getting a bit laggy now. My game is struggling a little bit, sorry about that. Rain reporting. Oh dear, rain has been reported by some drivers. I can't see it properly on the screen just yet. Let's see. Yep, there it is. Rain then, as predicted, in the final lap of the race. Ladies and gentlemen, it is happening. If this rain falls down hard and fast, then things might completely go insane in the final lap. How hard will the rain fall? Will the track completely soak wet within a lap? Or will it take it easy and let the drivers finish their race? 3.2 seconds now between Alexander and Polypunk. It will still not be enough. But if the rain catches out the Ferrari drivers, still things might turn around. It is advantage Red Bull in terms of the Constructors' title at the moment. It's not enough to claim it. As Much has retired from the session. He's not happy with all those penalties, so he's decided to not finish the race tonight. But this man, though, has been absolutely unbeatable. After Alexander Ju spun out, he made the most of it. And he will be the new championship leader. All he needs to do is navigate through the stadium section on his old and ancient and fossilized medium tires. There he comes then. A few corners to go, 2 corners to go. 1 more to go, and here he is, ladies and gentlemen, our new championship leader. It is the man from Spain. Polypunk wins the Mexican Grand Prix. Alexander came home in P2 with only 1.4 seconds separating him on track. And Kene then taking the final podium place in 3rd. What a race. And there he comes then, Big Turbina in P4, edging Red Bull closer to that constructor title. Let me have another quick calculation. Yeah, 32, 25 points. It's not enough, as I said earlier, for them to claim the title. But they are very, very close. They are now 39 points ahead of Ferrari from the top of my head. Let's actually have a little look afterwards, after the race, to see if I'm correct. And there he is then, no longer the Drivers' Championship leader. Grenade Goran outside of the points. A moment of silence for this man. Incredible race, a lot of things have happened, and here he is, it's a she actually in the game. Polypunk winning the race. He'll be beside himself with happiness. There he is then, look at that. And Alexander, after a mighty fight back, claiming a podium still in P2, he'll be relieved to see that his hopes are not over just yet. He'll be, I think he'll still be in P3 at the moment. Yes, he'll be 8 points behind Grenade Goran in 3rd place. And he shall be, oh god, my math is actually failing me tonight. He was 13 points behind Polypunk, which will now be 21 points. So technically he still isn't out of the running, but it's going to be very hard for him to do so. He will have to win the final race, and Polypunk will have to finish outside of the points if he wants to win the driver's title. Grenade Goran at 12 points behind Polypunk, so there's still a bit more chance for him though. Let's have a quick look at the rest of the grid. This is the full finishing order, with quite a few drivers not finishing the race at all. 6 drivers in fact who didn't finish, Trixam and Much technically retiring as well. They are still classified though as such. Let us move into the commentary booth. We have Alexander currently waiting for us. Alexander, Polly, and Kane are forming the top three, Daniel. So let's move in. Alexander, no, actually, we see Polypunk has moved in just into the interview waiting room. Finally, we can have an interview with the man himself. And now my Discord decides to not cooperate. There we go. Finally managed to be able to drag him into the commentator room. Polypunk, first of all, congratulations. I hope you can hear us, and I hope we can hear you as well. That was an incredible victory for you, and big news, first of all, you are now the Drivers' Championship leader.
Well, thanks first of all, and I'm so tired. This race was. It seems like it was easy, but it wasn't. I'm sorry. Feel so sorry for Alexander. He was so much faster than me, but he made that mistake when he was P1, and I'm sorry for him. But it was pretty good for me. I had the pace. I was a little bit lucky with the safety car, and I had Kieran behind me. I made a big gap there, and it was all like driving time trial for 26 laps with mediums.
Yeah, that makes me curious. How old were the tires, or how worn were the tires by the end?
I think it was 70, 72, 73. It was fine, I think. Alexander was catching me with the hards, but I had that gap that helped me a lot with the worn tires, so it was good.
All right, so you're now the championship leader going into the final round, and if my calculations were correct, please correct me if I'm wrong, by the way, Twitch chat, you are now leading by 12 points from Grenade Goran, so you're looking good for the driver's title. Were you expecting that after tonight, before tonight, actually?
From me, yes, because I like this track, Mexico. I put a lot of hours on time trial and Grand Prix mode, and yeah, the only thing that I was expecting was Green Goran having a little bit of bad luck. It was time. And about Brazil, I really like that track, probably my best track, and I think I only have to like have a safe race. I don't know. Probably, I think I'm winning this, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know. Things might turn around in Brazil. It's been an absolutely wild race for everybody here. And as you said, lucky with the safety car, you were able to pull a massive gap to your nearest rival, Kane. The rain in the end, was it getting any worse? Were you getting worried about it, or wasn't it as bad?
Rain, I think, started like last lap, but Jeff was telling me rain is coming, and I was, oh no, please. Uh, as you know, I was Hungary. Yeah, it was. I I put softs instead of inters,
Yep, I definitely remember that one.
yeah, and I blow that race, but for I was a bit lucky with the rain just in the last lap, so it was fine for me.
All right, so once again, much congratulations to you. Enjoy your victory tonight and the fact that you're now leading the driver standings. And let's see if you can become the champion in Brazil next week.
Let's see. Thank you.
Cheers. All right, then the man in second place. He's still not out of contention for the driver's title, but you'll have to hope for a miracle next week. Here he is, Alexander. That you managed to turn it around quite well after what happened during the early stages of the race. What exactly happened, actually?
This race has been so eventful. I'm pissed, but at the same time, I can't complain getting a second place for being. I think I was 10th at lowest. Yeah, I had the first mistake was when I got on the throttle a little bit too much, and then I spun. And then Polly took the lead, and I came out 9th or something. and then of course it was hard struggling with the warm tires in the beginning. But yeah, nothing really special happened there, and then the safety car came. I mean, it was a good safety car for me as well, to get some new rubber on and try to move up the field. But I, by mistake, put on the mediums. I mean the hards. I didn't mean to go on the hards.
Oh, it was actually a mistake. Oh.
It was a mistake. Yeah.
I see.
So I wanted to go on the mediums because I felt I would be so much quicker on the mediums at the beginning stages. But yeah, the hards paid off pretty well in the end. So I'm not complaining now.
Yeah, do you think you might have won the race if you had no penalties and if you were slightly closer?
Yeah, 1 or 2 more laps. Well, I think I was 1.5 from Polly in the last corner.
Yeah, I saw 1.4 when you crossed the line.
Yeah, so 1 more lap. I really think I could have taken him, but he did such an amazing job. You know, he pulled such a good big gap with the safety car, and he played everything really good today. And now he's the leader, and he deserves to be the leader of the championship.
All right. You're 21 points behind him going into the final round. We saw what happened today to Grenade. He actually scored no points whatsoever. He had a lot of bad luck. Brazil next week. Do you think the miracle will happen?
I mean, it can happen, of course. Brazil is also a really messy track with the first corner. So if someone behind, if me and Polly gets 1 and 2 again in qualifying, and someone behind is really hoping to get past, then yeah, everything could happen. So you know, I'm still aiming for the win next race, and if I win and Polly gets second, there's nothing more I can do, and then I'm happy with that.
All right, last thing about the Constructors' Championship. You could have claimed the title today as the Red Bull team.
Yeah.
However, you had to score 10 points more than Ferrari, and they were only 5 points more. So that's going to be some extra pressure next week for you then, next time?
Yeah, I think you know, both me and Big Turbina. Big Turbina was last in the first lap because he got some damage, and he still ended up P4. And I was 10th and ended up P2. We were really good teammates, and I think we could really get the championship. And it's nothing to worry about that much, but I think, yeah, we have some pressure with Polypunk being fast and the 2 McLaren guys also.
All right, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us tonight. Well, enjoy your second place after a great recovery, and let's see what will happen next week in the final round.
Yeah, I'll see you then.
All right, cheers. And that's it for the interviews, ladies and gentlemen, for tonight. Kene unfortunately didn't join us in the interview waiting room, but let's have a little look at the standings before I say good night, good evening, good morning, good afternoon to you all. As I told you earlier, Polypunk now leading Grenade Gorham by 12 points. Alexander 21 points behind Polypunk and still in third place. He is, though, still able to claim P2 a bit easier, as he's 9 points behind Grenade Gorham. Red Bull, very close to claiming that Constructors' title. They are now very close to doing so. So yeah, it's still all to play for, especially in the driver standings, where there's still 3 drivers ready to claim that title. It will all be for the final showdown last week, as we can see on the calendar right here. The showdown in Brazil. Make sure to tune in on December 6th, 9 p.m. straight. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this epic race. I for sure did. Thank you for appreciating the commentary. It's always a big pleasure to do so. And I will see you all. Well, I'll see you for sure in Tier 1 on Thursday with Dan, hopefully. Once again, wishing you a great night, afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are. And good night and goodbye.